Okay, as you can see, I've just divided the paper into two sections. Now, I wanted to just show you the difference with dark and light. So one side I wanted to do a nice contrast with darks and light, and then the second half I wanted to show almost the not to do. So this is not applying the darks. So it's not about being scared of applying the dark. It's about not being scared of the darks. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so I'm using my Winsor & Newton watercolours, and let's go ahead and start this by mixing there's a lot of Payne's Great looks on the palette. I'm just going to go straight in to the sky. I'm not fussed, not messing about. I'll go in and add a quick sky and soften edges. Yeah, actually I'll go ahead and do both examples. And soften edges. I think it's probably best or easiest if I do both paintings at once, just so that I can match the colours. So if you know anything about watercolours, making colours, it's quite a challenge to mix up or match the colour again exactly. So I'm just going to go ahead and add both these in. I'm just painting around the houses, buildings, whatever you may have. And you can either paint round or you can use masking fluid, depending on how you feel. I used to use masking fluid, but I've tend to not use it so much these days. I've got the jars somewhere of masking fluid. It's not that I don't like it, I just I find it hard on the brushes. You have to clean them out thoroughly. The dry and setting brushes can ruin your brushes. So that's probably the main number one reason I don't use masking fluid anymore. I just think if you're a bit more careful, you know where your whites are, you preserve the whites, leave them, and that's much easier. Maybe I'm lazy, I don't know. But there we go. Okay, so I've done the hill. If you get these little pools or beads of water, you can just go in, dry it a brush, and just give that a little mop away. And there we go, simple as that. Okay, similar colour to the sky. I'm just going to add that to the roof, both roofs. And again, I'll do both sides. It says we're trying to mix the exact same colour again. Okay, and I think we have another roof. Just the door, sort of porch. And let's get this tree now. Maybe we'll go a little bit of yellow ochre into that green that I used for the hills. I'll go in and mix that. And you can see I'm not being particularly careful with the brush. I just want to get that in. Okay. Maybe the houses can be a yellow ochre into that Payne's grey. Yep, you can see that. And same again on the other side. A bit more water, you can see I'm getting the dry brush effect, which one I'm not really after at this point. I don't think there's going to be any dry brushing on this painting. And let's go for the end, like so. Okay. Oh, I'm going to do a path. Okay. We're going to go for a green again. Just going in. Tell you what, I'll just do. There we go. A nice simple green. Just move that over a bit. And it's about there. Okay, it's not too important. There we go. And the other side, so I'm doing that exactly the same. Just a bit of that green, drop it in there. And again, this side needs to get more mixed up. A bit more paint. And again, just a bit more water. Okay. So there we go. Not bothered so much. Let's get the colour made for this path. There's a nice colour. And there we go. There's the path. Done. And again. Path. Okay, let me take some of the paint off. You can see just by adding water it does dilute the colour. I just want to strengthen this one a bit. And I think we're going to have to put, oh, I've just noticed a bit of green showing through that. Okay, and I need to put colour on the side. Just a very weak. As in this picture, this painting, this is the side that's going to be hit with the sun, so I want this being the lightest side of the painting. So same on this side. Because I don't want it absolutely brilliant white. But there we go. Okay, I'm just adding some darks. And just to make things interesting, I'll add a bit of yellow ochre to this foreground field or grass, and I'm just planting the road. I know it sounds a bit silly, but this makes the road fit into the scene. It's not just cut out and stuck on. I'm doing the grass over the top and framing the road into the scene itself. Okay, so and for the second wash, lots of colour that you may apply, I'm using less water and more pigment, and that gives you a darker, more vivid colour, and that just gives it more depth or darkness to the colour, more richer. And it's quite a dry brush, so that's quite a nice thing to see when you're doing trees. It gives a nice broken effect, so you can see all this texture. And I'll go even darker on this, and for a bit darker I think I'll add a bit of French ultramarine, and that darkens the colour around the base of the tree. I want that colour, so not everywhere, just here and there. In fact, I'm going to cover that. It looks a bit odd. Okay, I think I'll go in with the same sort of wash, same sort of colour for the trees in the top of the adjacent building. Now can you see how having that dark at the back helps this? Can you see how having the dark at the back helps this building stand out? And again, using that same mix of sap green, French ultramarine, I'm just adding some sort of shadowy areas on the banking, on the grass, and there we go. I'm going to go in with some clean water and just soften edges and make that all part of the scene itself. And maybe we'll have a shadow coming. Maybe there's a tree just off the scene and there's a cast shadow coming right across the path or the road. So I'm going to mix a warmish colour now for that. So I'm using the alizarin crimson with French ultramarine. I want slightly a bit more of the red than blue, because the French ultramarines are very strong colour, so I don't want that to overtake. Okay. just like so. Coming across the scene, you can imagine that big tree just on the side here. Trees. Okay, so I'm going to do the same again over here. And there we go. Okay, I'm going to strengthen the background hills. You could either do this by using the same mix that you did use for the hills, or just because obviously a second coat of the same colour is going to be twice the strength or darkness. Or you could mix up a bit, slightly bit darker. So in that, I'm just going to fire in some of that yellow ochre. Yep, there we go. And I don't want to forget this little side here. I'm going to match those colours there too. Okay. And again my yellow ochre. Going into this hillside here. Okay, I'm jumping back and forth quite a bit, but I just wanted to make sure I got the same colours going down for each, for left and right. So that's why I'm going here and there and everywhere. Can you see how the dry brush, using a drier brush, although not intentional here, just as it happens, my brush ran out of water. But incidentally, can you see the effects it has there on the building? It's quite a good technique to use. Okay, I think I'll leave that there. So let's just have a quick look and see what the difference is. Can you see the difference in the contrast with this one and then with this one? I think many years ago when I first started painting, I was almost scared to go dark, to go too dark, and this would be the sort of painting that I'd end up with a finished painting of. But over the time that I've been painting in watercolour, I've learned that you really have to spend that time looking at the composition, and you really have to get in and not be afraid to go too dark. Okay, so can you see the difference in the left side and the right side? I think adding darks give a bit more of a balanced painting, and the one on the right with the less darks, it just to me looks quite flat. And obviously on the left, the darks balance out the lights and make that sort of light colour shine and pop just that bit more, giving your painting a lot more interest. So hopefully something to take on board next time you're painting, just to concentrate on darks. Just keep going with your colour, and don't be afraid to go dark, and that's it. But you can see the difference between the two, or I hope you can see the difference. Okay, well, thanks for watching.